The time loop has become a popular time travel movie premise. Usually defined as when a character, for one reason or another, relives a day or experience over and over again, and must figure out what they need to do to escape it. Hollywood has used this concept numerous times for different genres with varying success. More recently, the popular TV show Russian Doll employed a time loop premise, and its influence in sci-fi movies shows no signs of fading away anytime soon. Happy Death Day is a 2017 American black comedy slasher film directed by Christopher Landon and written by Scott Lobdell. It stars Jessica Rothe and Israel Broussard. It follows a college student who is murdered on the night of her birthday and begins reliving the day repeatedly, at which point she sets out to find the killer and stop her death.
Sneaky little biatch. Maybe you should switch to water next time. Super helpful. Don't be late to your party tonight.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Triangle is a 2009 psychological thriller film written and directed by Christopher Smith and starring Melissa George and Michael Dorman. George portrays a single mother who goes on a boating trip with several friends. When they are forced to abandon their ship, they board a derelict ocean liner, where they become convinced that someone is stalking them.
Wind's dropped out on us.
Get below deck now! Get the...
Primer is of note for its extremely low budget, experimental plot structure, philosophical implications, and complex technical dialogue, which Kareth, a college graduate with a degree in mathematics and a former engineer, chose not to simplify for the sake of the audience. Primer is a 2004 American independent psychological science fiction film about the accidental discovery of time travel.
You're gonna stay on the line, and you're not gonna interrupt. You're not gonna speak for any reason. Some of this you know.
Time Crimes is a 2007 Spanish science fiction thriller film written by, directed by, and featuring Nacho Vigalondo. The film stars Cara Elejald as Hector, a man who unwittingly becomes part of a causal loop and must stop his other selves from continuing to exist. The film premiered at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas, in September 2007. Palm Springs is a 2020 American science fiction romantic comedy film directed by Max Barbakow, with a screenplay by Andy Sierra from a story by Sierra and Barbakow. It stars Andy Samberg, Kristen Milioti, Peter Gallagher, and J.K. Simmons, and follows two strangers who meet at a Palm Springs wedding only to get stuck in a time loop.
Nice.
Run, rabbit, run!
Looper is a 2012 American science fiction action thriller film written and directed by Rian Johnson. It stars Bruce Willis, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Emily Blunt. It revolves around present-day contract killers called loopers hired by criminal syndicates from the future to terminate victims whom they send back through time.
We both know how this has to go down. So why don't you do what old men do and die?
Why don't you just stick your little gun out between your legs and do it, boy?
Predestination is a 2014 Australian science fiction action thriller film about top temporal agent who must pursue the one criminal that has eluded him throughout time. The chase turns into a unique, surprising, and mind-bending exploration of love, fate, identity, and time travel taboos.
Maybe he's doing the city a favor.
That kind of talk will get you in trouble.
The worst than I've already been through.
There's something this job has taught me, is that truth is stranger than fiction.
You're a dog about bartending, are you?
Source Code is a 2011 American science fiction action thriller film where a soldier wakes up in someone else's body and discovers he's part of an experimental government program to find the bomber of a commuter train within 8 minutes.
I took your advice. It was very good advice. Sean?
Look, I can see that you think you know me, but I don't know who you are. My name is Captain Coulter Stevens.
You couldn't freaking me out.
Edge of Tomorrow is a 2014 American science fiction action film. The film takes place in a future where most of Europe is invaded by an alien race. Major William Cage, a public relations officer with no combat experience, is forced by his superiors to join a landing operation against the aliens, only to find himself experiencing a time loop as he tries to find a way to defeat the invaders.
You see, this isn't the first time.
Groundhog Day is a 1993 American fantasy comedy film directed by Harold Ramis. Murray portrays Phil Connors, a cynical television weatherman covering the annual Groundhog Day event in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, who becomes trapped in a time loop, forcing him to relive February 2nd repeatedly.
Ned Ryerson, I did the whistling belly button trick at the high school talent show.
Bing!
Bang!
But Phil's about to find out. He's not just stuck in Punxsutawney.
Will you be checking out today, Mr. Connors?
Chance of departure today, 100%.